Well, I'm so sorry about what happened, and our whole office got involved in this, and I appreciate their help when we read what happened to your dad, Robin, and to you, Paul. I mean, it was such a sad thing when he had served our country like he did in World War II. He was in the Pacific. Do you know what that means, you guys? Yeah. He was, in the Philippine Islands. He was in the ocean on islands, and he was helping to protect our country. And he ended up serving on one of the islands for over 160 days straight without rest, right? It was pretty amazing. Part of a reconnaissance group.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that's why he got all these medals. And when we went back and looked, we found out, we're still working on one of them, but we found out he deserved a bunch of medals he didn't get.
Oh.
So that's why we have all these medals. When the army looked at it, they found out that he was deserving of so many other medals because of what he did, and all the time he was out there in the hot, right, out there in the middle of the Pacific, protecting our country. It was a pretty cool story. So anyway, let's go through what we got here. You want to give them to me, Duncan, for your grandpa? Okay, here. So this is the first one, and this is the Victory World War II medal. Okay, you want to should we open it up? Sure. Okay, good. And I'm leaving the best to last, the Bronze Star. That's pretty good. So here we are. Maybe we'll take it out, do you think? Is that okay? Because I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, no. Yeah, maybe you should take the next one out and open it up for me. That'd be good. You want to try, or have your aunt do it, maybe?
Okay.
Yeah. You want to try working on it, or your mom. Otherwise, it's going to take a really long time to do this. Okay, so here it is. That's very cool. So that's about the fact that we won World War II, and your grandpa was a part of it. So that's what that medal's about. So here, and I'll give you this to keep it in. So you know. Okay. Okay, let's see. Oh, you're a lot better than me. Okay. This is Army Good Conduct. It's always good to have you guys good conduct. Okay. And that's very cool because it has an eagle on it. Check that out. Yeah, for your grandpa. I bet he would have liked that one.
Yeah.
You seen an eagle before? Yeah, that's good. So that's what that one is.
Very nice. Very nice.
Okay. And let's see what this one. What does the box say on this one here? This one says, that he served in the Pacific, just like I told you guys. So let's see, that has a picture on, so do you see what tree this is in here?
Palm tree.
And why do you think the palm tree's on there?
Because it's in an island in the middle of the Pacific.
That's exactly right. So they have a special medal for people that served in the Pacific. And that's what he earned, of course, after going 160 days. Can you imagine that? You know how many months that is? Big test here. That's over 5 months.
Yeah.
Right? He was serving there in the Pacific, and he never got to rest. And he was with a special group. So there's that one. I like that one.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Wow.
Okay. And then I think Megan had some other ones. What were those, Megan?
A couple more.
She's these are like, let's see what these are. These are ones that didn't have a thing. So these are these are lapel buttons.
Oh, right. Yeah.
For honorary service, right? Oh, you have another one, and then this is. Oh, that's a neat one. Okay. You're gonna have to need a big display now.
Yeah.
I think. And this one is combat infantry. Oh, look at this one.
That's cool.
That one is that your favorite one so far?
Maybe.
Yeah, it has that gun on it. Wow. You want to see that one? Okay, so what's this one? This one we got. Oh, that goes with the Pacific one.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay. You guys can see all these later. I promise. Okay. All right. Now here's the big one. This is so cool. Okay, let's see. So it has the United States of America on it, right? And this is the Bronze Star. It's pretty special. And they had forgotten to give this to him before. So this is it. Look at it. So you can see what it looks like. So it's very, very beautiful. And that's just for the fact that he was so brave and he was there for so long and fought for our country. So anyway, so thank you so much.
Well, thank
I'm
you.
sorry about what
Thank you.
happened, but we hope it's more than makes up for it.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you so
Thank you. Thank you very
As
much.
they discovered in all their records. There were more, and we're still working on the other ones. So anyway, so here, why don't you hold this?
Great.
It's just beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
I think we should be leaving it. Well, we can. Oh, look, we can even take it out for a minute. Make sure we don't hurt ourselves, huh? Here we. So how do you know how old your grandpa was when he signed up to serve? He served. Let's see. When was he born?
Born in 23.
In 1923. So he
So
was.
he was in like 19, 18.
Yeah, he was really young. He was right out of high school. How old are you?
11.
Yeah. It would be like 8 years from now you went. And we're all out on those islands. That's what you did. Be nice. You want to see it? Sure.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm going to show it to your aunt. I bet she wants to see it. So did he talk, Suzanne, about his stories, or did he talk Robin about what?
He was kind of tight-lipped a lot
Yeah.
about his military service.
It was basically about, the stories we heard were really
Oh, okay.
the thing, the things they could do to entertain themselves.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
Yes.
Probably not for Sunday TV. Okay.
Yes, the things you could do.
Did he
various-
stay in touch with the people he served with?
There's a few.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few that we met over the years that would come over. But again, they never really talked about much. They go over and play peanut.
Mm-hmm. That's what they say. A lot of the World War II vets never really talked about what they saw. Well,
And if he was here, I think if he was here, first he'd offer to make everyone a drink.
yeah. Well, that we will have one in his honor then. What else?
I think he'd be pretty proud, pretty humbled. I think he'd be really humbled.
Well, that's what this weekend is about. Sometimes people forget because they remember it's the day off of school, right? And they remember that, but it's really about our veterans. It's about those we've lost, but it's also to make their memory alive by this kind of recognition, because otherwise it's hard to think forward about how we should treat our veterans and those soldiers who served if we don't treat them well, the ones that we've lost.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, we
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
thank him for his service and all of you for keeping his memory alive and not just letting this go. And Clara, where are you?
Yeah, where's Clara?
There she
She
is.
was awesome.
Who worked on
Thank you.
this, who heads up our constituent services. So what was it, so who, did you work on it, or who did
It
either,
was a
Greg?
team of us.
Uh-huh.
There was Rachel and Isla and I that
Uh-huh.
worked on it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very good, because it's a lot of bureaucracy you have to cut through for things.
Yeah.
Especially when someone's lost something, and then they had, some of the records were destroyed in a fire, that not in a building where they were that they were stored in.
Yeah.
So it made it
1973.
harder. In 1973, we've run into this before, and it takes a long time to get something. Yeah. All right, okay, well, thank you.
Thanks.
I appreciate it, I'm so glad.
Yes.
You guys ready to see all these medals?
Yeah.
Would it be okay?
All right.
Would
Any
it be
quest-
okay?
Oh, questions, yeah. Sorry, I forgot, sorry. Okay,
You're
yeah.
like, Paul, do you mind if you just keep sitting there? We ask you a few questions just
No,
about
that's all-
everything that happened and kind of what led us up to
Sure,
this
yeah,
point.
sure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So for starters, would you mind kind of taking us back to what happened that it ended up that you unfortunately lost these medals?
Yeah, last Thanksgiving, I came home, got home probably, I don't know, midnight or so, and noticed that the house had been broken into. And so I was, called the police, and they came and checked it out, make sure everything was okay. And I was up cleaning up upstairs, trying to put things away. And like I said, I'd always kept the medal by his Purple Heart on the nightstand. And it took a while for me to notice, but then I noticed it was gone. And that was kind of the punch to the gut.
What do you think about, something like that? From it came, a positive in this, and another honor that maybe they didn't even know about before, but for someone to take something like that, it's invaluable.
Yeah, and I really didn't know what to do as far as, if it was replaceable or not, and before I could really even start digging into that, your office had called and they said that you wanted to start working on it, and they kind of took the ball from there.
And you never found out kind of what happened there, and who it was?
No, it's still an open case, but they haven't tracked anything yet. I mean, the police contacted the pawn shops and surplus stores to keep
Because
an
they
eye
also
on it.
took other things, some jewelry.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot of jewelry and.
So
things like that.
so your dad, tell us more about him. I guess, like you mentioned, he didn't like to talk a lot about some of the stuff that, happened over there, but
Right.
what type of guy, was he, and what do you think he would think about today?
Well, as I said, he was, pretty humble, but he was, kind of fun-loving. He's an optometrist, something.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
But some of the stories that I've heard, since he died. I mean, at his funeral, I found out that he was in training for the Alamo Scouts, which was the precursor to the Army Rangers and the Green Berets, and had no idea that he had volunteered for anything like that.
And that's while he was in World War II.
Yeah, they started that towards the end of the war. They're training down in the Philippines for that.
How did he feel about the medals and, passing them? Did he have them and then he gave them to you?
No, I didn't know he had the Purple Heart until it was just over a year ago. I was down visiting my mom and her sister and husband down in Phoenix, and my aunt and uncle had the medal and gave it to me.
So we
Long
didn't
before the
even
other
talk
books.
about the medal.
No,
But for you, that was a memory of him that you didn't have from before.
Right,
So you kept
right.
them up. I see.
yeah, and there's an author of a couple books on the Alamo Scouts, and I had gotten in contact with him years ago just to let him know that Dad was involved with that, and so he put out a new book with interviews of the surviving members of the Alamo Scouts. They had managed to get Dad's picture in there, which was pretty cool.
That's interesting, though, that he never talked about it. It's like it's courageous. You don't want the medals, it's nice to have them, but it sounds like he wasn't, didn't talk about it too
Right.
much. Didn't want to, I guess, boast about it. Or,
Right.
And so many times we have that happen where someone dies and the family wants to remember them with the medals, but when they were alive, they didn't want to pursue it. So,
Oh,
because
what's
they
it,
don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
what's it like for you now to know that your father even had more medals coming to him that you weren't even aware of, including the bronze? So what's
Yeah.
that like for you?
It's pretty astounding. I think Ron would say the same thing.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, it is a bit overwhelming. It's not something we would expect. From him. Just knowing him and growing up with him. It's like that just wasn't.
It was Dad.
You're right. It's like, he's playing cards and making old fashions for my friends when they came home from college.
And I know they said they're still working on getting another Purple Heart
Yeah, we
here for
are.
you guys. What would that be like for you to get that award, get back another new Purple Heart for your dad? What would that be like?
That'd be incredible. That'd be pretty amazing. I mean, that would just kind of bring a nice sense of closure to this whole thing.
Your lovely wife mentioned that you guys, the whole neighborhood and friends get together a lot on the weekends, but, with it being Memorial Day weekend and, I think the senator talked about all the awesome kids who are here. And, I mean, what do you kind of want them to take away from these medals when they look at them? Because they're just medals, but the meaning behind them,
Yeah, I mean, just that, ordinary people do pretty extraordinary things when they're asked to. And that's kind of what that whole, that's what I think any military service is about, really. You're trained to do it. You don't ask questions. And then they go back to being, regular dad, you know?
Right.
Paul, maybe I missed it, or anyone else who knows. What was his mission there, his unit's mission? What were they actually doing there?
They're reconnaissance, right?
Reconnaissance in the Philippines,
Yeah.
on the islands, in the middle of the Pacific where there was pretty intense warfare.
Yeah.
So they'd hop a boat and go check out an island and see what was there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Was your dad from St. Paul? Where's he from?
No, he was born in Phoenix. Then his family got kind of separated. His dad died when he was young, and so he went to live with his uncle up in Wisconsin, like Amory or Luck, somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
And then ended up in Eveleth.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
That's where he
right
met.
there where my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where he met my mom, because my mom was from Eveleth.
and
So,
did
yeah.
I hear you say it was his? It would have been his 92nd birthday.
Yeah, in October
Okay.
this year. Yeah,
When did he pass away?
2000.
Okay.
And you obviously don't know the story behind the Purple Heart, what he did receive.
No,
that
we haven't
day.
been able to track that one down yet.
Because the records were destroyed in this fire, so
Right.
that's why we're trying to still recreate them.
I get it.
Oh.
But we wanted to get them all of these new medals we found that he deserved that he had never gotten. So,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, we've got other, family members searching through old paperwork and whatever
Yeah.
and records and anything to see what we can come up with as far as, even a glimmer of, any a hospital he might have been in or whatever. So. He had malaria, I know, at one point.
So there's still tracking to be done. They didn't have the internet back then.
Right, yes.
And we go through a lot of old things. It could take a while, so. But we hope we get that in addition to these.
Yeah.
I think that's it.